On today's show, we welcome Emma Lane from LaneWellnessGroup.com.
Whether it's a client or it's a practitioner, they're on a journey. I used an analogy today actually with a client in regards to, if somebody said to you tomorrow, right, you're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, that is not very doable with where you're at the minute. But by saying, okay, we're going to start walking 30 minutes tomorrow, and then maybe in 2 years' time you're going to be able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, great. So you can see the bigger picture of where you're heading to, but it's more about being on the journey. It's more about taking part to get to where you want to go. Oftentimes, people get very dissuaded and discouraged because they're looking at the end goal.
Right.
It's just, that's where I want to be. I want to lose 4 stone or whatever that is in pounds for you guys. It's like they want the massive weight loss, but that they know where they're going, but the actual process of getting there is just overwhelming because that's too big a goal.
1 stone is 14 pounds.
I knew you were looking that up. I could tell you. That's coming up. All right, here we go. Emma Lane on the show today. If you don't know who she is, you should. And if you do, you'll probably know her a little better after the next hour or so. She's also been a contributor on rebelhealthtribe.com. She's written some excellent articles on digestion and gut health. Her article, 8 Tips to Improve Digestion, is one of our most popular articles on the site, in fact, so you can go check that out at rebelhealthtribe.com. While you're there, you can look at everything we have to offer in our premium members area. I haven't talked about the discount club in a while, and we've got some new companies that I want to tell you about. We now have the new Primal, which is grass-fed beef jerky and other snacks, which are amazing. Raw Juvenation, which are raw food energy bars, and Biddy Foods. You want to know what Biddy Foods is? Sure you do. It's crickets. Cricket protein-based treats, not kidding. I haven't tried them yet, honestly, but I can't wait to. And you shouldn't hesitate yourself because they're supposed to be amazing. And now you get 15% off when you join Rebel Health Tribe as a premium member and gain access to our discount club. And of course, we still have over 30 other companies with hundreds of products in our discount club. Plus, our premium members gain access to our Primal 90 Total Mind Body Transformation System, exclusive interviews, meal plans, and much more. Just go to rebelhealthtribe.com/join to learn more and use the code REBELPOD to get your first 30 days for free. That's rebelhealthtribe.com/join. Okay, back to Emma Lane. This is kind of a big deal. Emma does not do a lot of interviews. She said she's more comfortable talking to hundreds of people in a room rather than a couple of guys like me and Mike on an interview. So this was a real honor to have a chance to speak with her. So Emma calls herself a holistic practitioner, but I don't think that really speaks to her abilities, her expertise, her experience. Maybe it's just that term holistic health practitioner or holistic health coach is overused here in the States. It's pretty easy to get a holistic health coach certification here. But she's so much more than that. She's a naturopath. She's a true educator, and she has studied and researched and helped countless people regain their health. This was just an incredibly interesting conversation. We really enjoyed it. We hope you do too. Here's Mike and I with Emma Lane. Welcome back to the Rebel Health Tribe podcast. I'm Joe Rignola with Michael Roseline. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Joe.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Cool. Excellent. Puppy's quiet. That's good. It's a good sign.
For right now, yes. We're going Puppy Podcast Part 2.
All right. Sounds good. Today we are joined by Emma Lane. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being here and joining us.
You're very welcome. I'm now very curious about the puppy.
No,
you haven't seen the puppy?
The puppy's adorable.
No.
Can you see down there? Can you see the puppy?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he looks so sad. He's not giving him enough attention.
Yeah. She doesn't like being in there, but that's where she has to go during podcasts. So that's
Yeah. And if she barks, Michael barks back at her.
Yeah, that's what the trainer taught us.
which I still haven't gotten a witness. But I'm hoping that we get lucky and we get to see
It was
that.
so effective she doesn't bark anymore, so
Yeah.
we will see what happens.
Mike has a scary bark. He's done that to me a couple of times when I act up, but it doesn't work.
Yet.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe if we were not on the opposite side of the country, it would probably be more effective. But so Emma, for folks that may not be familiar with you, just tell us a little bit about your background, about what you do and why you do it.
Okay. I'm a holistic health practitioner for ease of kind of bringing it all together. I'm a naturopath, so I do work on that realm, but I've developed lots of different approaches, so it's from lots of different aspects of healing methodologies, techniques. So pretty much whatever I feel is going to be beneficial to the client that I'm working with, that's kind of what we do. So I don't really have an official title per se. I just kind of call myself a holistic health practitioner, really.
Sort of encompasses everything.
Yeah. It gets too long-winded otherwise.
Well, we've got about 3 hours, so we can talk about all of it if you want.
Okay, how to help people go to sleep would be that competition.
That's usually my job, but so how did you get started doing this?
Oh, sorry. I've been in the health industry, for about 27 years now.
Come on.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. Starting off with things like it was group exercise, so aerobics, steps, slides, circuit training, all that kind of thing. From there, I went into personal training, then into rehab, doing a lot of rehab work. Went into management, then started lecturing to other professionals. Did some corporate work. So it's kind of evolved over that period of time of more from the physical side of things, and then into actually the recognition that, the physical stuff will get you so far, but actually you have to take care of the inside appropriately. So, what we now really call the well-being lifestyle choices. It became very obvious that you could only get so far with rehab and exercise, and that's kind of when I switched more so over to, if you like, the other side of things, and the more holistic approaches.
And when you mean wellness, you're talking about more nutrition and spirituality and a lot of
the whole gamut really. When I was working more on like the personal trainer side, I did actually train as a nutritionist and worked in the more allopathic nutrition side. Ultimately, kind of coming to the conclusion through my own personal journey as well, because I became quite ill, and that was through lifestyle choices, stress, nutrition, lack of sleep, etc. That ultimately you've got to change things in order to have a different experience, and that includes looking at relationships, how happy you are, how mindful you are, those kind of things. So it was kind of part of my journey linked in with what I was seeing with clients that kind of pushed me in a different direction. And from there I've just literally sought out the people that I felt had the information that I wanted, the information that was applicable, that worked, etc., but not necessarily always the scientifically, the scientifically proven study-based stuff. It was more of a gut feeling. So hence why I've trained with lots of different people around the world who I considered to be the leaders in the field. So that's why my training is very kind of eclectic. It hasn't followed any specific route. I've just kind of learnt something and gone, oh, actually, there's that aspect which I haven't looked at before, and that looks really interesting. I'll go do that now. Yeah. And then I've kind of pulled everything together, and that's what I try and teach practitioners now. That you have to look at different areas. It's not just nutrition. It's not just exercise, it's not just this, it's not just that. You have to kind of look at the whole picture to create a balanced being, a whole person kind of thing.
Right. So once you were doing physical training and physical therapy, realized there was more to it, and is that around the time that you discovered Paul Chak?
Yeah. Actually, it was when I've been doing rehab work for quite a while, and then especially with the spinal stuff, because I used to do cardiac rehab as well as the physical rehab, and yeah, it was more spinal stuff in that there were certain things that just didn't tie together, and I saw Chris Maund present a workshop at a conference. 90 goodness knows what.
That was back at the beginning.
Yeah, way back at the beginning. And then from there, kind of, went in a bit of a discovery of looking at some of the, there you go, video training programs that he had, the correspondence courses which were on video. I did some of those, and then went in and did the whole kind of practitioner holistic coach side of thing. So I did all the practitioner stuff, and during that point, through that journey, they did bring in the first level of the HLC, which ultimately it's now what is HLC2, which was at the time HLC1. And then from there, ultimately I became faculty and helped develop the programs and things from there.
How long were you faculty for with them?
I was senior faculty for 8 years, and before that I was probably 4 years.
Okay.
I was with them 12, 13 years, so yeah, that'll be about right. Yeah. A while.
I never got to take any of Emma's check courses. I took her holistic approaches. What is holistic?
Functional gut.
Fully functional gut. Yeah, here in San Diego, and that was about a year before I moved here, and that's what really planted the seed for me to relocate. I mean, to really drive that. I'd wanted to. I mean, we were up on the balcony the one day because she hosts it in this like ridiculously gorgeous location with giant windows and then a balcony overlooking the water, and it's ridiculous. And I remember we were all outside, and I was like, I want to live here. And everybody kind of laughed. Everyone's like, yeah, join the club. We all want to live here. And I'm like, no, I really do. I really want to live here. And now I'm about 30 minutes south of there.
Nice.
But, that class was awesome. It was so fun. And I sat next to Steve McCary, Joe, who we've had on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I met Steve, and I still work with Steve, and we collaborate together with him. So it was a good bunch and a good class, and highly recommend it, even for those who aren't professionals. I think, especially in our audience, whoever's listening, we have a lot of people who are very into gut health and gut topics and things of that nature, and there's no better weekend you could do. I had a blast and learned a ton, and it was awesome. So there's a
lot of information in it, but yeah, if you've got a keen interest in health, yeah, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
In regards to the level of information, very higher. I kind of, whoever's in the class, I teach to the class kind of thing. So if there's more lay people in there, bring it down a little bit. If there's more practitioners in there, I take it up quite a few notches.
I don't think you'd need to bring it down for our audience, honestly.
Yeah, we have a pretty smart audience.
When we do the microbiome webinars, Karan tells us he gets more extensive and thought out and researched questions from our audience than he does at the medical conferences he speaks at. So our people are gut crazy.
Yeah. Are you planning on coming over to the States and teaching that course again anytime soon?
Yes, hang on. I've got a list because I'm not very good at remembering where I'm going.
Look at you being prepared.
I'm actually in Miami and Fort Lauderdale in June, but that's with the parasite course. So the world of parasites, fungi, and bacteria. Tells of the diseased body, which is it's the signs and symptoms that you can look for, which I've learned from lots of different people from around the world, and obviously, over a period of time working within this industry. So it's face reading, as in organ face reading, tongue, nails, the signs and symptoms that the body shows you, skin changes, what it's actually telling you, those kind of things. So it's a class that gives you a lot of information, whether it's to apply to yourself and your family, or whether it's to use gathering information in regards to clients. So there's that one, as well as a 2-day parasite, and then in Miami I'm doing the emotions and the organs, which is one of the new classes actually, which I've launched this year. Because most people don't realize that the organs hold on to emotions, and that can create an emotional change within the person and a mental change. Plus, it goes the opposite way. So you can have a physical manifestation through an organ that creates an emotional response. You can have an emotional response that creates dysfunction in the organ. So
that sounds fascinating.
Can you give us a little sneak peek of that information?
Exactly.
Give us one example. I'm fascinated with that stuff.
Okay, so let's take a common digestive problem like indigestion. Okay, GERD. Yep. So with GERD, obviously that's the stomach. And they have indigestion, so it's acid going somewhere which it's not designed to go, so into the esophagus. That could be from excess acid, or it could be from not enough acid, which is pretty much often the times the case, that there is some kind of dysfunction there. Physically, that problem could be created by transient relaxations of the lower esophageal sphincter. It could be by H. pylori bacterial infection. It could be that they don't have a good cephalic response. So there's lots of physical problems with that. But ultimately, how that could manifest, so the stomach is all about worry, anxiety. So pretty much people that worry about things or that are anxious a lot, they can create a dysfunction within the stomach, such as indigestion, such as creating an opportunity for low esophageal transient relaxations, for example. So it can go either way. So when you're treating somebody with something like GERD, you can't just look at the physical. Yes, you've got to rule out the lower esophageal transient. You've got to rule out things like H. pylori. But at the same time, you've also got to look at, okay, how is that person's emotional balance? Do they have more tendencies to be anxious? Do they tend to worry about every little thing? So then what you need to do with that person is create a better baseline in regards to their emotional balance and address that worry, that anxiety, which is obviously going to create more of a sympathetic response in the autonomic nervous system, which will then shut down the parasympathetic nervous side, which shuts down digestion. So it's kind of like this knock-on effect. So the liver's all about anger and envy. So oftentimes when you've got people with liver issues, whether it's just congestion, whether it's something more serious, that organ is what holds a lot of deep-seated anger, something that they're holding on to, they haven't let go, and it could have been from childhood. It could be, it will tend to be obviously further back, kind of in the life. So you've got to look for like life experiences as well. The timeline of what's happened when the physical problem started, so you do have to look at, well, what came first? Was it the emotional? Has that been running for a long period of time, or was it some kind of physical trauma, for example? So like with another one would be the colon. The colon's all to do with sadness, depression, so it's kind of not letting things go. So if it could be something horrible like losing somebody that you're very close to, and that could stimulate that kind of sadness. However, you kind of got to look at the whole thing here in regards to what's going on. But yeah, it's kind of, if they've lost somebody, then it's a normal process, and it might just be short-term, the effect in regards to why they've suddenly got loose stools or constipation, some kind of problem at that physical level. But you definitely have to look at the overall. Like the pancreas is a really complicated one that generally links into something like the large intestines, because the pancreas is all to do with grief. So blood sugar balance, control issues, oftentimes it's to do with grief, and it's often, obviously we get into it a lot deeper, but with the pancreas it's often about loss of self. It's not grief around another. It could be, but oftentimes it's loss of that sense of self. You're not living your dreams, you're not enjoying your life, you're not doing what you feel you should be. So there's a level of grief there.
Is there a correlation between that and I know when people have that type of grief, they tend to use food, particularly sugar, for comfort. Is there some correlation there?
Yeah. It's ultimately, let's say, with the pancreas, obviously, yes, the emotion that gets held there, as in the negative emotion, is grief, but definitely the physical effects of that, it could be from a digestive point of view in regards to enzyme productions.
Mm-hmm.
So, more of your exocrine functions, or it could be more of your blood sugar regulation in regards to, your insulin output, so your endocrine kind of side. So
Mm-hmm.
it could go both ways, or you could have both effects as well. But definitely blood sugar is a big one because it affects overall mood, balance, energy output, thought process. It will create an inflammatory response, so then you've got that as well going on systemically in the body. So it's quite problematic.
Yeah.
This stuff is fascinating, and your class is one of the first places I ever heard about it, and I dealt with liver issues. That was one of my main health problems before I switched my lifestyle and everything, and I also drank a lot, and I always thought that the drinking was causing the liver problems, but then after listening to you, and I met with a Chinese medicine practitioner that kind of laid things out for me in a way too that was, well, were you depressed, or did you have anger issues or jealousy, frustration? Did that cause the drinking, or did the drinking cause that, or did the liver damage cause the jealousy, or did the jealousy, or like they wrote it in this triangle that went in every direction, back and forth, and I always viewed it as linear. I drank, so my liver was bad. I didn't look at any of the emotional stuff, and when I started working on all the emotional stuff, my liver numbers got way better, and I stopped drinking. And so, which was first? Like, what's the the chicken or the egg? And your class was really the first place that I heard that, where I listened to it. I heard it from JP years before that, but I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
I thought he was just some crazy kook with red hair.
Yeah. I have almost the identical experience with stress and my gut issues. I was on Paxil and Nexium at the same time. It's like, there you go. Nexium for GERD.
This is the thing. I mean, yeah, in the holistic approaches to a fully functional gut, I'm teaching that one actually in California at the same venue in October, Michael.
Okay.
And I kind of touch on the emotions in that class it's kind of plant the seed. Let's put it that way.
That's what it did for me. I've done tons of work on that since then, and that's where it started.
Yeah. But ultimately, because people were interested, I have put this class together. It's a one-day class it's the emotions and the organs, messages from within, because ultimately your body's just trying to tell you where you're out of balance.
I may have to make the trip out to California for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, well,
I might have to crash the party.
No, sorry, just let me qualify. The fully functional gut is in California in October, but the emotions and the organs is in Miami Beach in
that's
June.
The one in Miami. But that's
the one in Miami. And I've got, basically it's the tells of dis-ease, which is kind of the body one. Sorry, no, I'm getting confused. The tells of a dis-ease body. World of parasites, messages from within, which is the organs and the emotions, and then the facial tells of disease, which is another one-day class. That's one of the other new ones. That's face reading, as in how it's Chinese face reading. I've spent quite a while studying under a Chinese face reader who comes from the the royal Yang family dynasty.
Oh wow!
Face readers, and it's fascinating. It's been my newfound interest because it's all about what the face tells you about the individual. So it's not just the lines on the face, it's the bone structure, it's the size of the nostrils, whether the eyes go to a point or a hook, where the cheekbones are, how big the cheekbones are. It tells you everything, and oh my god, you can read so much about a person from the face. So when you're working with clients, it's fantastic because you sat across from them looking at them, and you can tell so much about a person's beliefs, what they've experienced in life, what the characteristics are. It's fascinating.
Wow.
So I'm doing a course on that as well, which is the facial tells of dis-ease, because ultimately whatever you aren't expressing appropriately or helping to rebalance is an emotional issue, and emotions, when not moving or being listened to and acknowledged, turn into dis-ease, which turns into disease.
Wow.
So it's all a way of gathering information.
Yeah, those I wouldn't think I'd be able to. That's June, right? You said those are in June.
Yeah.
So
the 11th and 12th in Miami.
Not going to happen.
Say again?
I'm
Joe's
gonna have
having
a 1 month old by then, so that's probably not gonna happen.
Oh no, I think you'll be trying to catch sleep.
Yes, exactly. You'll be able to tell a lot from my face.
Does Dan have anything to do with you hosting them there?
Actually, yeah, the ones that I'm teaching in Fort Lauderdale are at his place. So
That's
the
what I
parasite
figured.
course and the body disease one, yeah, I'm at Dan's.
That is Dan Hellman. His episode of the podcast will be released before this one, so if you're listening to this, you want to learn about Dan. Dan's an awesome guy. You can go back and catch that one too.
Yeah.
I don't need an excuse to go to South Florida, but when one pops up, I think, yeah, Dan's place is right on the water too, isn't it? Like close to the.
It's close. It's close. Yeah,
Close?
it's close.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So Emma, you're in London, or whereabouts are you in the UK?
I'm in Wakefield in Yorkshire, which is where I live. I live on a farm.
Nice.
But yeah, I work a lot in London. I have a clinic down there and a flat down there, so
Right.
I tend to be there 2 to 3 days.
Right. And did you grow up around that area?
Actually, I'm originally from Sheffield, which is in South Yorkshire. Wakefield is in West Yorkshire, so I'm kind of a county apart.
Okay.
It's not that really.
Did you
That
grow
makes
up
not
on
like
a
the
farm?
America.
Did you grow up on a farm type environment?
I was heavily involved with horse riding during my childhood. So I lived 5 minutes away from the farm where the horses were. So pretty much, yeah, I grew up on a farm. I just didn't live on the farm. My best friend did.
Oh wow. Oh, that's really cool. So what kind of horseback riding did you do?
We used to compete mainly 3-day events. So the cross countries, the dressage, the show jumping. So it's kind of 3-day events. Yeah.
That sounds really interesting.
It was fun at the time.
Yeah. Was that kind of your passion? Like, did you plan on doing that for your career at some point, or was that always kind of a hobby? Or
No, my sister, she has a livery yard. She still actually is very involved with the horses. But no, I was always more interested in sports in general. So pretty much I went straight into the fitness stuff.
Right. So what kind of sports did you play as a kid?
Oh, gymnastics. I competed with gymnastics at the same time as the horses, actually. Up until about the gymnastics was from 6 till 14, and then I kind of switched over to the horses. I used to do a lot of canoeing, actually, outdoor canoeing. I used to do, you'll laugh at this, Michael, because you know how short I am, but I actually used to do high jump at my school.
Have you ever done any canoeing or kayaking here? Have you gone out on the water here?
Only once. You know the place between Encinitas and actually the next place up, where they've got that inlet from. Been on there a few times, but other than that, no.
That's La Jolla Cove, I think.
Yeah. So, no, the other way.
Oh, the other way?
In the other direction.
Oh.
Yeah, going
no,
to.
I don't know. We should go. We should go out in La Jolla Cove next time you're out here. It's beautiful. There's sea lions and seals. We've seen dolphins out there, and I've even seen a sea turtle.
Cool. Yep, I'm up for that. It's a long time since I've been. But yeah, I did a lot of sports. The old hockey. I was the mile road race county champion. So pretty much it was do a mile in as fast as you can.
Oh wow!
And I was county champion for 2 years. I've done lots of different sports.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's more. I actually competitively target shoot. So long barrel pistols and rifles.
Yeah, weren't you pretty close to like Olympic level stuff with that?
No, UK team. Yeah, okay. National
team.
Yeah. What about with gymnastics? How high did you compete with gymnastics?
No, just that was, I'd say county. Like state level, not in regards to you guys, not super high.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You talked about some of your own that you had some of your own health issues, and maybe that was part of the reason you looked for a more holistic approach. What kind of things were you dealing with your health?
Just the normal fatigue, some
The
nasty
normal.
disease. You know, I had three very bad car accidents, so I'd got spinal injuries, and brain injuries. There was various stuff. I got adrenal fatigue. I got parasites, digestive stuff, etc.
Yeah, the kind of stuff we hear from a lot of particularly practitioners who kind of took the reins on their own health and studied and got their own health back in order.
Yeah, you tend to have to do that. Hopefully it's changing, but I don't think it's changing enough from the allopathic side. But it's there's definitely movement.
I wonder if I don't know if it'll ever change, or if the more holistic path will just kind of take over and make the.
I mean, there's definitely benefits from both sides.
Sure.
My opinion is that neither side is willing to open up to the other side. Hence, one of the reasons why I created integrative health education, because it's trying to bridge the gap between the medical sector and the holistics. Because that's what I do as a practitioner. I work with a lot of medical people, as well as utilizing that holistic side and utilizing a lot of practitioners from that side as well.
Yeah.
So I somehow created this bridge without actually realizing it, and then it's the holistic sector started getting a lot more protective of themselves, almost like what the medical sector was doing. It then started becoming more clear to me that neither group were actually open to actively working with each other, which oftentimes you need both sides. If you're going to help the client, the patient, you've got to look at all possibilities of what will actually help resolve their current issues and challenges. So you've got to be open to both sides. You can't shut yourself off, whether it's to lab testing, whether it's to different medicines, etc. You kind of got to look at both.
So how long ago did you actually move from fitness, physical therapy, physical training to the more holistic approach? How long ago was that?
Probably now 12 years.
And how much has that changed, that relationship between the holistic and an allopathic, and how much has that changed over the past 12 years or so?
Substantially.
Really?
Everything was a battle before.
Right.
In regards to people being open to try more natural approaches, getting decent quality supplements was always an issue. It was more trying to get people's medical practitioners on board if you were doing something different, because oftentimes they would poo-poo something that you'd suggested. Sure. And at that point in time, people were very much still orientated to doctors or gods, for example.
Yeah.
Just getting decent quality food, organic, gluten-free, decent, decent quality stuff was just hard work. You'd have to go to 3 or 4, different places to get different things, and still then have to send for stuff from wherever, to actually get just what you needed to what I would call live a responsible, healthy life. Sure. It was just a lot harder then than it is now. It's very easy now.
So do you remember having interactions with doctors and like really being at odds with a couple of doctors where it's memorable, specific interactions?
Oh, definitely. I've been accused of trying to kill people, of various things, and you just have to stand your ground, and you have to know your resources and your references, be able to explain it, because if you can explain your reasoning behind a specific choice or a recommendation that you've given to somebody, and it's in line with the anatomy, the physiology, what the problem is, and the person is feeling better, they're going to have a hard time arguing with that. And you just have to know. Ultimately, I just had to make sure that I understood the biochemistry, the anatomy, the physiology behind something, and then be able to explain why what I'd suggested they would do, why it would work.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So yeah, you just have to stand your ground. Which sometimes when you've got a doctor, you know, shouting down the phone at you, it's not the most comfortable situation.
No, it's not.
You know?
I've been on that end, and it's not fun. Mike's been on that end too. So yeah, it's intimidating.
And my first interaction with the doctor after I started doing this work was him threatening to have me arrested.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know what could or couldn't happen. I didn't know if that was a possibility. Like, I didn't know my rights. I didn't know anything. I just sent a client with a list of blood components to ask for when he was running her blood panel, and that caused World War VII. So it's like, it's a threat to their ego too, and I don't know. I know if I had to go to bat with the doctor, you would be the one I would want to bring with me. So
yes. So
it doesn't happen as often though now. It's definitely getting better. It is.
Good. Yeah, I was going to ask. Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's because I'm quite well known as well. You know, especially like in London around Harley Street and things, because I get a lot of referrals from doctors. I actually have clients, patients that are doctors and nurses and what have you. So you kind of get you build a good rapport, and I think that's all you can do. You know.
Yeah, and I guess it takes doing it for 12 years or so to really start to build up that, because I think there's still a lot of resistance from a lot of people that I talk to that work more holistically or naturopaths. There's still a lot of resistance here. Do you think it's in your area in general, or do you think it's the UK in general where there's more progression there?
I think in certain areas, yes, the UK is quite forward-thinking. In other areas, no, the medical profession is kind of just locked into this belief system, and they're stuck. Yeah. Even with all the information in regards to the fact that increased intestinal permeability does exist, and there's thousands of studies that support that now. You would be amazed how many doctors go, it's a load of rubbish. They will still turn around to patients and say, oh no, there's no such thing as leaky gut.
Do you think that's because they don't want to do the research, or do you think it's because they don't want to be wrong, or do you think it's because, I mean, if they've read it, there's no logical response to it, or do they not have time and it's defensive? Like, what do you think is because I've heard that too, and I'm like, but it's like fighting with someone that the sky isn't blue. Like, I don't know where it comes from.
I think it's a combination of factors, especially in this country with the NHS. The doctors that work on the NHS are just overrun. They just don't have time, literally, to read a lot of research, unless they really have to read it to, maintain a licensing, etc. Just clearly don't think they have the time or the energy to.
You have socialized medicine there, right?
Say again?
NHS is their socialized medicine.
Yeah.
Do you think that plays into it? Like the doctors have to see so many patients that they just don't have time? Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking an average of 4 minutes that a doctor will actually get to see a patient for. I mean, you and I both know how much information can you get in that period of time.
That's insane. How long do you do on an initial consult with a client?
3 hours.
3 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours is my initial.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've already spent a good 2 hours doing all the prep work and going through all the test results, if they've done tests, the paperwork. I kind of know that person inside out. Yeah,
and that's just one patient.
Yeah. Your course really taught me that in a lot of ways too, because I was doing a normal, okay, let's schedule an hour-long consult, and then they schedule a consult, and by the end of the consult, I kind of know a little stuff, but not really enough stuff to really make any real recommendations, and after that, I really expanded my intakes that I gave them to get more information before the fact. I expanded my packages to have more time actually talking with the people, and at first I was hesitant to do that because obviously the price goes up because it's a lot more time invested, but the results are 1,000 times better, and it's just I I hesitated for a long time to raise prices on packages and coaching and things like that because I don't know, maybe I didn't value it, or maybe it I was worried it would, like, you know, cause nobody to hire me. But and everybody like Emma and other coaches and mentors I've had have told me, you know, you raise your prices, you'll get more compliant, more successful clients.
Right.
And I thought, no way is that possible. I'll get 0 clients. I'm the exception to the rule, and if I raise my prices, I'm going to be homeless. And
that's a lot of paradigm shifts that
Yeah.
Mike, that we've been talking about since we've met.
Yeah. And part of it is valuing yourself and your time and realizing how much your services are worth. But I've noticed they were all right and I was wrong. And as the packages grew and the cost grew, the compliance and the dedication and the success of the clients grew also. So you taught me a lot about that, so thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I say to a lot of practitioners, ultimately what determines whether people are going to work with you is the success that you have with your clients. So if you don't have the information because you haven't given the time over to getting the information, you can't actually help them, therefore you're not going to get the outcome. Whereas if you spend the time getting the necessary data before and then asking the appropriate questions when you're having a consult to, you know, gather more information, to qualify things and to confirm things so there's no misunderstandings, by doing that, you are going, you know, as you said, Michael, people are going to recognize that you are in their corner, you aren't going to miss something that may have been missed before, which is frequently the case, actually. You know, they've worked with other practitioners, but they've missed things because they just didn't have that time to find out that relevant information. So it's the outcomes that will determine whether you can charge the amount you want to charge, because it's down to whether you are going to be able to give that person, in the long run, with them taking responsibility for their choices. That's the key factor.
Yeah.
You know, people will be quite happy to pay you for your time. You know, I don't charge for service because I do so many different things and whatever I deem is appropriate for that person. So I charge for my time. That's how I do. I don't charge for a service of, you know, if I'm doing energy work, it's not a different price for, you know, looking into somebody's overall health kind of, you know, or looking at test results or anything like that. It's literally, it's my time, it's my expertise, you know, rather than service. And I think a lot of practitioners do, oh, well, if somebody's talking to somebody about nutrition, the person down the road charges X, the person up the road charges X, oh, I'll kind of go middle line.
Right.
You know, I don't want to outprice myself away. That's not how to do it. You look at your experience, you look at your expertise, you look at what you can offer, you look at your success rates. That's what, you know, you should be looking at in regards to how you value what you do, you know. And also, you know, taking into account, what do you need to live the way you want to live? You've got to walk your talk.
Right.
Good food costs money. Taking time out, you know, so you've got appropriate me time, costs money. You going and learning, you know, more information that will help your clients. Yes, it will help you, but you've still got to pay for the course, the accommodation, the time that it takes. So you've got to take all that into account in regards to what you need to live a healthy, happy life, to be able to walk your talk, to then be able to show clients that, well, yeah, you can do that as well. So you've got to place that value on that.
I think a lot of practitioners, particularly practitioners who work online a lot and kind of walk that line between being a practitioner and being an entrepreneur, are super guilty of not walking the talk. And you know, when I say that, I'm really talking about me. I think we're guilty of that.
Yeah, people have this misconception that everyone that's in this industry does everything 100% quote, perfect 100% of the time, and that we're infallible and we don't have our own vices or our own challenges or our own struggles. And that's definitely not true.
You have to, you know, do the best that you can. And then, you know, recognize that if something doesn't work, that you know, you look at it for what it is and make different choices and take responsibility and change things. But I'm definitely a believer in, as a practitioner, actually because I teach practitioners, I feel that I've got to walk my talk in regards to being able to teach practitioners, but also I've got to work with clients in order to teach, because I don't think, you know, you can be an academic but not understand how how you need to put things into a practical sense. And again, that comes back to, if you're not doing it yourself, how can you help your clients put it into practice?
Right.
It's a circle.
Yeah.
You have to walk your talk in order to be able to then advise clients. And, you know, when they're going through things, you can say, oh, yeah, you know, that happened. I had this experience, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can actually, you know, they feel more secure in your support, your guidance, the information that you're giving them. And it's the same with practitioners. You know, if you don't work with clients, if you're not in, you know, like in it, how can you teach practitioners how to actually do things properly, because they're not, you know, doing it themselves?
Sure.
So, sorry, that was a little bit of me getting on my stool and having a preach.
No, it's true. And there's a huge divide between knowing what to teach people and knowing how to teach them, or how to help them actually do it. I knew what to do and how to teach. I knew what to do and what to teach people well before I was doing all of it, or I knew how to teach it to them in a way that got it across, other than being like, here's a sheet of paper, do all these things, and you'll feel better. Because then they'll say, well, I can't do this because of this, or I have this trouble with this thing, and unless you've gone through it and run into the same crap yourself, you don't have that, like, workaround or that not cheat, but, like, you know what I mean. You'll run into trouble with certain things, like, oh, I have to be at work at 5:30 in the morning, so I can't sleep till 6 or whatever. So until I was really doing all of it, I don't know, it's kind of a charade, and I see that a lot. And it took me probably 3 full years to get from, like, I knew what to do well before I was able to do it myself, because I had a lot of emotional work to do. I had a lot of blocking factors and subconscious things, and once I went through all that stuff, I was able to do the stuff that I knew I was supposed to be doing. But I was already teaching people it before that. And I wasn't nearly as effective as I may be now, I don't think. And I think that's kind of what you're saying. So I'm probably just beating a dead horse. But I
think a lot of people go through that.
Journey. That's how I look at it. Whether it's a client or it's a practitioner, they're on a journey. And it's not about getting to the destination per se. It's about learning how to look after yourself for life. And it's a process, you know, and it's stepping stones. You know, I used an analogy today actually with a client in regards to, you know, if somebody said to you tomorrow, right, you're gonna climb Mount Kilimanjaro, that is not very doable with where you're at the minute. But by saying, okay, we're gonna start walking 30 minutes tomorrow, and then maybe in 2 years' time you're gonna be able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, great. So you can see the bigger picture of where you're heading to, but it's more about being on the journey. It's more about taking part to get to where you want to go. Oftentimes, people get very dissuaded and discouraged because they're looking at the end goal.
Right.
You know, it's just, that's where I want to be. I want to lose 4 stone or whatever that is in pounds for you guys.
No idea.
You know, it's like they want, you know, the massive weight loss, but that they know where they're going, but the actual process of getting there is just overwhelming because that's too big a goal. You know, so it's a journey. Everything's a journey, whether you're a practitioner, if you've got your own health stuff. It doesn't mean that you can't start working with people because you're still dealing with your stuff. It means that you're just open and honest, and you say to your clients, okay, well, actually, I've got this going on at the minute as well.
Yeah.
So you know,
I think clients appreciate that.
we can support each other.
Yeah.
1 stone is 14 pounds.
I knew you were looking that up. I could tell you were looking that up.
I can't convert it quick enough in my head.
So that's 56 pounds. She said if someone wanted to lose 56 pounds.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, that's a big deal. You know.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time.
They get discouraged because it seems like an overwhelming goal, and that they're not being present enough to just concentrate on what they need to do today or in this moment.
Yeah. You know, be in the present. You know, take into consideration what the rest of the week holds for you, but it's kind of it's gentle steps forward. It's stepping stones.
Right.
The big ass. This is what I'm going to do right now.
Yep. Excellent.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Emma, just where can folks find out more about you online?
Probably the best place to go is the lanewellnessgroup.com.
Okay.
Because that links to all 4 websites of mine. So obviously that is a link to integrative health education. So if people are interested in the different courses, and it's not just courses from me, there's other people on the website delivering, like Graham, for example, he does his blood course and his stress course. You know, we've got a couple of doctors on there and various things. So there's different people, different kind of courses. PCI Europe is the parasite testing that we do. I basically specialize in gastrointestinal and parasites. That's my kind of key area, and obviously the energetic and the emotional stuff. So I work quite closely with Dr. Hellman, who is based in Arizona, the Parasitology Center in Arizona. We use the European, we're the European distribution side. Holistics Online, which is ethical, organic, good quality, no crap supplement company, which is again very eclectic. So right from Tesla electromagnetic protection, organs, through to supplements, through to grounding sheets, blah blah. And we do ship all over the world. However, if somebody orders from America and they can get the stuff in America, we will just tell them get it there. We'll tell them where to get it from, for example. No point in us shipping back. But we ship in a lot of stuff. We have a practitioner range, which is on the back section of that website. So you do have to be a practitioner to get access to the back section for the high therapeutic stuff. And then there's the client company, which is Energize with a Z, Energize Mind Body. That's my work, where I work one-on-one with people.
Excellent. And all of that is at lanewellnessgroup.com.
Yeah, if they click onto lanewellnessgroup.com, they can click through to whichever website they want to look at, rather than giving them all.
Do you work with people via distance?
Yeah. I have clients. Pretty much, you name a country, I've probably got a client there.
Oh, great!
Awesome.
So yeah.
We'll link you on our site. We're setting up a little area on our own website with our recommended practitioners and doctors. I'm actually stepping away from that type of work, at least temporarily. And so people come to us a lot and say, you know, do you take clients? And now I'm saying no, but I don't want to just say no, screw off. I want to say no, we have this excellent team of people, so I'm putting together a questionnaire that they'll fill out on that page, and then gives me enough information to say, okay, I would check out these 3 people. I think they would be good ones for you to look at, because you can probably back this up. Having a good fit with a client or patient, if they're a doctor, is extremely important. And not having a good fit doesn't benefit the patient or the practitioner. So we're going to try to play matchmaker and help people find the practitioner that could best help them with their situation. So if you're interested, I'd be happy and fully confident in listing you on there.
You could do. The only problem we might run into is I have about a 4-month waiting list.
Okay. We can note that.
Sure.
But yes, obviously we do run a waiting list kind of thing. But then I talk to everybody before I determine whether I'm going to work with them. So like you've just said, you have to make sure that they're a good fit. So I talk to people in order to, for my benefit, work out whether we're actually a good fit, whether I want to work with them, and ultimately whether I can help them with whatever the problem is. So I pre-qualify with clients a lot. So I turn down a lot of people when I've spoken to them, because if I don't think I'm the right person or we're not going to get along, I will then go, I think such and such would be a better fit, or try such and such.
Sure.
So it's not guaranteed that I will take people on. I only work with people that are as committed to creating their health and taking responsibility, you know, so it's as much effort as I will put into them, I expect them to do the same thing for themselves. And I make that very, very clear that they are responsible. I will give them the advice, the education, the support, the guidance. It's up to them whether they're going to get there or not, because they have to make the right choices and take responsibility.
Sure, that makes sense. Good stuff.
Cool. Thank you so much, Emma. This was awesome, as I expected it to be.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to have do another interview on the energy work that you do, because that's another fascinating topic that that I like to talk about. So we'll schedule something else.
We're doing a series soon, a webinar series, interview series on one on mind and one on brain, with the mind one being more the non-physiological things, the mental, emotional, spiritual type stuff, and then the brain one being more the physiological, the neurotransmitters, the hormones, dementia, Alzheimer's. We want to kind of do them back to back to show where those things are all related and where they're not, or where they might be, or those type of things to give context. If I might be hassling you soon to hop on a webinar on some of this emotional stuff. Just so you're warned.
Okay. Pretty much, yeah, the mind one definitely. In regards to more of the physiological stuff on the dementia and the Alzheimer's, if you want me to do one in regards to the parasites like toxoplasma, there's humongous amounts of research that supports the trigger for a lot of dementia and Alzheimer's and mental health disorders.
Great.
All right, I will be in touch soon then, and we would be happy to have you on whatever you want to come on.
Yeah, exactly. Emma, thank you so much.
It was quite comfortable, actually.
Good. I'm glad. Good. Then we'll definitely do it again then. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you, Emma.
Thanks, guys.
Talk soon.
Okay, there's Emma Lane. I feel very calm and relaxed and generally pretty happy after speaking to her. I can see why she's such a successful practitioner. I don't know what it is. It's just she seems like the kind of person who has a way of just making you feel like everything's going to be okay. She's a great lady, and it was really an honor to have a chance to speak with her. Again, you could find Emma at lanewellnessgroup.com, and you could find Mike and I and all of our superstar contributors like Emma Lane at rebelhealthtribe.com. That's all for now, folks. We'll talk to you soon.